Everything we've been looking at with SMB has been a null session or things that we can connect to without having to authenticate. When you do need to authenticate and you don't have credentials yet, you don't have the passwords, then there's some things you can try out. We have these things called word lists, and they're known bad passwords. They're passwords that people have used. Some cases, like RockU, which we'll use later, was a word list that came from a bunch of passwords that came from a social media website that got breached, and all the passwords got shared. And it had thousands upon thousands of passwords. And the company was called RockU. We're going to utilize RockU and those passwords because people make the same mistakes with passwords. It's why they're flawed. It's why we use two-factor authentication. And you need grab our IP address. We're 192.125.26.2. So we're going to nmap scan the .3 on that. And we see SMB is open. What we want to try is we're going to enumerate this SMB share utilizing Metasploit and a word list. We use an auxiliary module, a scanner for SMB, SMB login. And what this is going to do, from info, it's going to test an SMB login on a range of machines and report successful logins. Let's take a look at our options. And we're going to need to pass it a word list, this user pass file. That'll be helpful. And it needs a target. So, is it our hosts? Well, we say our hosts because that's what it calls it. Even if it's just one host. What we'll do is set this pass file to be user share word lists. We'll use the Metasploit one for Unix passwords. Then we're going to set the SMB user to be Jane. In this situation, let's say that we had previously enumerated that Jane was a user. And with that, we can just double check. Options, show options, it does the same thing. Should do the same thing. There we go. Everything that is required is filled in. This did a weird word wrap because of that password file. It looks good. Let's run it. And what it tried is it tried to connect and authenticate with a bunch of passwords. It tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you're probably thinking these are horrible passwords, and they are, including password. But someone has used them in the past. They'll use them in the future. People are people. And there was even one that was successful, ABC123. So now we know Jane's password is ABC123. Let's try this another way. We're going to use Hydra. First, we need to do some magic. We're going to unzip a file. It's user share word list rocku.txt.guzball. And that worked. We're going to utilize Hydra. Hydra is a very powerful tool. Our login is going to be admin, and we're going to pass it a password file. If you do uppercase, letters for uppercase L or uppercase P, then you're telling it you want to pass a file. If you use a lowercase, then you're going to give it a specific value. Like lowercase L was the username admin, uppercase P is going to be rockyou, user share word lists, rockyou, and we just unzip that, so it should work great. We need a target and a protocol. So we'll have it use those to authenticate with SMB. It's fairly straightforward. Works really nicely. It found out that admin's password is password1. We'll go about it one other way. Let's do SMB map. And our host. It's going to be that. We'll log in as admin with the password of password1. And we see that they have access to almost everything. Nancy is read-only. Let's find out if any of the shares are browsable. So SMB client, and let's list them out. As user Jane, and it asks our password ABC123. And no, it doesn't look like any of them are browsable by Jane. Or rather, sorry, Jane's share is not browsable, since we don't see Jane in there. Now let's try it another way. Let's do SMB client. In this case, let's connect and try connecting to Jane, even though it didn't have it in the listing. Let's see if it's there. And we'll try to connect as Jane, as the user Jane. ABC123. Run an LS. And it seems like it was there, even though it didn't list it when we use SMB client. Let's try that as admin. We say there's an admin directory. Let's check out the admin directory as admin. Password 1. And we have a hidden directory. Not so much hidden directory. Directory called hidden. And in here we've got flag.tar.guzball. Let's get that. Which downloads it. And then this might look confusing. Flag.tar.guzball. With Linux, you can do a tar tech xf, and it will gunzip it and untar it. So we end up with just flag itself. Now, another thing with SMB, we'll do this with MSF console. We use an auxiliary scanner for SMB called Pipe Auditor. And we'll set our SMB user as admin and set SMB pass as password 1. And then set our hosts check options. Everything's filled out and run. And we get a list of these named pipes. Net logon, LSRPC, SAMR, event log, init, shutdown. You might not know what these mean or how to use them right now, but we would want to write all these down in our notes, show that we found them, how we found them, and then we might come back and use them later. There might be exploits that require it. Ironically, we have yet to actually exploit this machine, despite the fact that we have gotten some information from it. That's really just more enumeration. The last thing that we can do is get a list of the SIDs for different Unix users. We use enum for Linux, and attack R and attack U for admin, attack P and lowercase password 1, and then our IP address. And with this lowercase r, it should be looking for users. It is working a lot. There it is. So our users, Sean, Jane, Nancy, and admin, now we have their SIDs. That might become helpful later if we need to spoof things or just identify